The indicators that I'll be comparing are on the x-axis the children per woman total fertility, and on the y-axis the mean years in school women above the age of 25 have spent. With these indicators, I'll explain why the total fertility drops as the mean years of education the women above the age of 25 received increases in the countries the Netherlands, Slovak Republic, and Rwanda. Some of these reasons for such behavior is that as more women are educated, there are better chances for them to get a job and live independently, contrary to the past times in which women were extremely reliant on men for their living. Also, as more women are educated and understand the economic situations in their countries, they will understand whether or not they could afford bringing up a baby. We will start from 1970s and we will go up to 2009, a span of about 40 years. And our first focus is going to be on Rwanda. So let's start. Even before its independence in 1962, Rwanda was very reliant on its agriculture. Even today, it is very reliant on it, but not as much as it used to in the past. The result of an agriculture-reliant country is that the families will need multiple children to help out with farm works. And this is the reason why the total fertility of an average Rwandan woman was close to 8.5 by the 1980 or 1982 in this case right now. Furthermore, in agriculture-related works, physical works is put into greater consideration than mental works, thus the need for women to educate themselves was low. However, Rwanda began to become more industrialized from 1980 on, and along with that, its fertility rate dropped. Not as many children are needed in industrialized places as they are in the areas reliant on agriculture, and we are going to see this trend right now. We have already seen this huge drop in the total fertility, going from close to 8.5 to about 6.3. However, what is interesting about Rwanda here is that its number of educated women kept on rising from 1970s on to this time, despite the several incidences that should have prevented its continuous rise. One example of such is the Rwandan genocide that occurred in 1994. Despite this mass slaughter, the education of women did not decrease at all. This may be explained by the fact that the Rwandan genocide was mainly focused on killing grown-up males rather than children or women. Or it may also be explained by the fact that after the 100 Days of Terror ended, the Rwandan government received countless aids from other countries. Among the aids that Rwanda received after the genocide, 10% of its entire aid was spent on its education, explaining why Rwanda maintained its number of educated women and increased the numbers in the following years, which we are going to see now until 2009. What we're going to observe is its total fertility going down and its number of educated women going up. That's the result, and this is Rwanda's current standing as of 2009. Our focus now will be on Slovakia from 1970s to, once again, 2009. Slovakia had a consistent increase in its education, but close to no changes in its total fertility from 1970s to 1980s. However, over the span of 1990 to 2000, Slovakia had a large decrease in its total fertility from 1990s to 2000. Slovakia had a large decrease in its total fertility because Slovakia's economy, along with the ones of other transitional countries, was doing poorly during the 1990s. Its GDP growth rate had a negative percentage during 1990 to 1993, and although its GDP did improve after that, it had another huge drop from 1999 to 2000. Such declines in the economy would make the people consider having babies, as they may not be able to afford taking care of one, and this would result in the decline of the total fertility. It is perhaps the result of education that has given the people the ability to understand whether or not they can afford having a baby, as in the past, whether they had the financial ability to have babies or not, they would simply reproduce. As for the education in Slovakia, its number of educated women continued to gradually increase over time, but experienced a significant change from 1990s to 2009, which we are going to see right now. This is because Slovakia began to pass education laws that both allowed the women to go to schools and made it a requirement for them to do so. The Higher Education Act in 1990, which was reformed in 1996 and 2000, the Act of Further Education in 1997, which was later reformed in 2001, are examples of the government taking great care of the education within Slovakia. And as Slovakia agreed to the Declaration of Rights and Freedom, it naturally gave more rights to its women population, some of such rights being the rights of education. Such improvements in education for women would have opened different career paths for women, causing them to pursue careers over making babies. This is proven by the fact that between 1995 and 2005, the total fertility of Slovakia kept on decreasing while its mean years of education the women received increased. We're going to see that right now. Now back to 1970, and this time our focus is going to be the Netherlands. The Netherlands had the oil crisis that broke out in 1973 had an immediate effect on the economy of many European countries as the price of oil quadrupled by 1974. The Netherlands, as a country who bought oil from foreign countries, had to buy oil despite the fact that its prices were extremely high. This caused multiple economical issues within the Netherlands. A crisis as such that impacted the economy could have caused women to be more cautious of whether they can afford bringing up a baby or not, and decrease the total fertility. As seen here, we're going to observe it once again. A huge drop. Now we're going to continue. After the oil crisis, the Netherlands' total fertility did not change much as it remained near the borders of 1.5. However, the mean years women spent in school did increase by a lot throughout the years. This may be a result of education becoming mandatory from the age of 5 until 16 in 1985. Similar to Slovakia, the mean years women from the Netherlands spent in school rapidly increased as going to school became mandatory. And now we're going to finish looking at its growth until 2009. The three countries have shown similar trends. As the mean years women spent in school increased, the total fertility decreased. There are multiple reasons why such trends occurred, such as industrialization promoting mental ability over pure physical ability, and women having the ability to have a proper job rather than becoming a housewife like in the old times when education was limited to women. Thank you.